Hi, this is Steven from Just Got Played, and today we're going to unbox Alubari, a nice cup of tea from Studio H. All right, so if we take a look here, you see 1 to 5 players, 60 to 90 minutes, ages 14 and up, because I guess it's a little heavy. You can see we've got railroad track going through all of these cities, which we'll put stations on. This was designed by Tony Boydell, who did Snowdonia. And so I guess this is based on that system. So I haven't played that game, but I've heard good things about it. So combine that along with this tea theme. And, well, they got me. Well, that and the fact that I got it on discount at a gamer flea market. All right. So here's all of the different components that are in there. Some of the components, just cubes and discs, not particularly special, but there's a nice big 2-page game setup in here. It talks about the game sequence, the different phases that you go through, the 4 different phases, and then there are those, you resolve these action spaces. The actions are, I think, A through G, right? And A, E, F, G. All right, and then, it talks about the end of the game and how you score that. Then there's just a list of the equipment and events that can happen. We'll talk about all that as we go along, and there's some solo play as well. All right, let's pull out the board here. Let me make room for this. It's a pretty large board, it seems. All right. All right, can't really get the whole board on here, but these estates are going to go down here, and then you'll eventually clear rubble off them and put plantations down. You'll build the stations, which connect these cities. There's an action spaces at the top that we talked about. They're sort of off camera there, action spaces. Up at the top, and that's where resources go, and there are cards over here you can claim. And these tracks will change over time based on the weather, which is pretty interesting mechanism. You'll see what's coming for the weather. Here you'll see what's coming. And then these, how much basically you do when you do these actions, how much gets done will change. So that's pretty interesting. All right, let's see what else is in here. I don't know. Is that for making an insert after? I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that goes in there to make a sort of an insert after you've punched everything out. All right, that's cool. So there are leaves in here, right? So these are the tea leaves. That's actually pretty thick. Pretty good quality component there. And then these are 5s, right? So just a bigger. All right. So that's pretty cool. What else do we have on here? This is fog. So I talked about weather. These are fog tiles. These are blocker tiles. Basically, you cover up some spaces when you're not playing with the maximum amount of people. All right. Is that all of the? I guess so. Guess that's all the things that there are to punch out. All right. Well, let's look at some of the other things we have in here. So I mentioned that some of this stuff is just cubes, which is not particularly great, but it is functional, obviously. So this is chai in the game. So chai is interesting because when it comes out of the bag, somebody takes it and then it's out of the game. It's not just like a resource that you can keep pulling from. These are iron ore. So again, just generic cubes. All right. And we have the stone cubes. Yep. All right. And then there should be some event cubes. Here they go. There's our event cubes. These get mixed into the bag with the other cubes that you're, sort of drawing out blind. And when these come out, these trigger events. So that's kind of cool mechanism there. All right, what do we have here? These are discs that for the weather. So you have rain discs. You have sun discs. the yellow ones, and then the gray ones are the fog discs. All right, so you just have an equal number of those. All right, we've got some other discs here. So I haven't shown you the rubble yet. So there's some rubble cubes. These are just, these count as 5 rubble. So that's all that is. For the brown ones, there's also 3 black ones in here. So stuck together. All right. And these are just markers for the game board that go down in these areas that I talked about. All right. More wooden pieces. All right. So here we have got the workers. So everybody, there's 3 workers in each color. Normally you have 2 of them, but there's a third usually hanging out down here in the tea house, I think, that you can get. So they are all the same sculpt, but it is a sculpt isn't the right word probably, but they are unique. I've never seen that shape in a game before. All right. That's pretty cool. Here's the bag. I mentioned the bag for drawing the cubes out of. So that's where all the cubes other than the rubble cubes go. So where are the rubble cubes? Let's take a look at those. Again, just a generic brown. These are actually smaller than the other cubes, which is fine. You're going to be putting a lot of these on the board, which is why also there were those 5s for them. All right, what do we got here? Steel bars. Okay, so that is a resource that I didn't talk about previously. All right, so steel bars, just little thin wooden sticks, nothing special there. And then, of course, you need a start player marker. And so we've got a wooden train here, which is nice. Nice piece there. All right, and then the rest of these are all ownership discs, I think these are referred to. So you're going to use these all over the board when you're claiming something, right? So yeah, ownership markers. So if you put one of these, down on a station, I think it shows you built the station there. If you put it on one of these, I don't have a card out now, you put it on an estate where rubble has been cleared, that becomes a plantation. So basically anywhere that you want to designate that you did something and you own that thing now, you use one of those ownership markers. So, here's all the other different colors in the game. So, well, actually, that is slightly different. These are player colors. All right. There is a game ownership marker, they're called. So I think if you're just not building stuff fast enough, there's some mechanisms that cause stations and stuff to get built automatically by the game itself. And any time the game does something like that, it does an ownership marker using one of these. So there's only 10 of these, where you have 20 of those others. All right, well, let's take a look at some of these cards that we have here. There's a few different types of cards. So let's see what we've got. All right. So these are equipment cards. All right. So they give you some ability here. So this gives you a cost for your third worker and points at the end of the game. That's what that is. I'm not sure what that is. Is that the cost to get the card? 3 chai would be sort of expensive, I would think. But yeah, so that's essentially what these are. There should be 8 of these, I think. So let's have a look. Toy train, nice. That one doesn't have a special ability, but it's worth a ton of points. All right. All right. Is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Good deal. So now we have some tea estate cards. So I mentioned there'll be rubble on these. I think that tells you how much rubble there needs to be on them, right? 6, 9, 6, 5, 4. And then if you are the last person to clear the rubble, you put your marker down and you have a plantation, and that gives you this many points at the end of the game. All right. So there's only one of these is printed on the board, and then there's only 8 of these. Nice. All right. So those are the estate cards. These are the contract cards. So the contract cards. So I talked about the different actions back up at the top of the board, A through G. So this D is telling you that during that D action, you can do this. And this is a one-time use. But then I think down here, these probably the more important part of the card. I haven't played yet, so I can't say, I guess, which was more important. But this gives you a way to score a lot of points, right? So if you've got 5, I think that's the stations symbol, and 3 leaves, at the end of the game, you can score 22 points, right? And so, or is that the, yeah, that's leaves. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you can see you should score a lot of points with these. If you have 2 of these, I would, if I wanted to score both of these, I would need 9 stations and 7 leaves, right? So you can't, share between them. All right. So there's a lot of these. There's like 30 of these contract cards. So let's just go through those. Okay. 4 of the larger plantation. I'm not sure. There were clarifications in the rules for this stuff. All right. Let's just get through the contract cards really quick. All right. And see what else we have in here. All right. And these are the action cards that go up there, like the A through G, right? So this one's got 2 spaces. If you're playing 1 to 2 player, 4 to 5, you've got the 4 spaces on there, and it tells you what you get. If you take this space, each time you do one of these actions, they go in order. So you would always want to take the first one, but in this case, if you take the 4th one, you get the first player marker for the next round. So that's pretty cool. Or maybe you take it right away. I'm not actually sure. But it's telling you what you do. You get to get 3 cubes. All right, so you've got your B and C and D. These are double-sided, obviously, for the number of players. E, G, and then F is just printed on the board. I think maybe you don't use it. So it depends on how many players you're playing. All right. It must be for solo play. And this talks about the different events that happen when those event cubes come out. So it sort of explains them, and there's end-game scoring. So that's pretty cool. I didn't look at the back of these. These, yeah. Oh, okay. Look, different weather. Oh, right, because they tell you, these are cards tell you what the weather is going to be. All right. Yeah, all right. And then there is a score pad. So you can see all the different things here that you score points for. And, you got this little insert in here, which I'll probably throw out, or I can, so insert in here, or I can build it out with this. Not sure. I'll figure that out as I go to put it away. But anyway, that is Alubari, a nice cup of tea. If you have any questions about it, I'll do my best to answer them. You can just ask me in the comments of the video, or if you look in the description of the video, you can come to our Discord channel, ask me about this or any other game. I'm happy to talk about games all day. And there's also links to our social media there, so you can follow us. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. That does help us a lot. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. But until the next time, thanks for joining me.